community courses and coaching programs, all thankfully from home. And today I'm going to be your host for Lesson from the Cockpit, my weekly live stream program that you are attending today. So come on in. I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. We are streaming all over the place. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. We are in my private groups. If you want me to see your comments, please either scoot on over to our business page or our YouTube channel. So I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. Today we're going to talk about how to showcase your skills so that your clients can see what you're capable of and hire you to do even more. All right. So please, any questions you have, please put them in the comments for me right there. Okay. Good. So before we dive in, if you are someone who's struggling with what to do with the next chapter in your life, you're going to be able to relate to this, right? So this is me and my daughter back in 2010, and I was recovering from a failed entrepreneurial experience. I had an online store that failed financially. I was getting a divorce, didn't have a job, and I had a ton of debt. And I was just about to turn 50, and I felt like I was at the end of a dead end road. And I can't even say I was living paycheck to paycheck. It was really more like moment to moment. And I started to try to get a job because I thought that would be the best way for me to make money. And so I spent a ton of time on my LinkedIn profile. I was contacting employment agencies, reaching out to past colleagues, but nothing was happening. And I was getting really discouraged, not knowing what to do, and really needed to make some kind of shift. And so I decided to start temping. Temping is essentially contract work. And you go through an agency, and I had no trouble getting that work. I had no trouble doing the work. I felt like I was making a difference. I was getting paid for it, and I loved it. And then I had an aha moment where I thought, what if I did this type of work, but I went directly to the client? So I didn't go through the agency anymore. And I knew it was going to be a big deal because I didn't know many entrepreneurs. I didn't know anything about marketing, but I did know that there was a need for this type of work because I could see it all around me. So a few days later, after having this aha, I was at the school bus stop with my daughter. And one of the dads said to me, "What's new?" And I said, "Well, I have this idea. What do you think?" And his entire face changed. What I didn't know was that he had started a business a month or so earlier and was drowning in administrative details, like drowning. And so he said, "Can we talk?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely." So, sometime later that week, we sat down and we figured out what he needed. He needed QuickBooks set up. He needed someone to pay his bills. He needed someone to install software on a computer. Really easy, right? This is, again, in 2010, a long time ago. And so I did all that for him, and it was amazing. And so I was encouraged. I started to spread the word even more, tell people I knew. And then I was at a wedding, standing in the buffet line with my glass of wine, and I met someone who became a friend and a colleague, someone I worked closely with for 14 years. And he wanted help with a live event. And I said, "Sure, absolutely. I can help you with that." I set up the credit card processing, which I knew how to do from my past business. And so I started working with him in this online event. I was hardly virtual at that point. And what happened was, after the event, he said, I want to do more of these webinars, but I don't know. I want to take this live event, put it online and create webinars, but I don't know how. Will you do that for me? And I said, I have no clue. And he said these very important words: "I'll pay you to figure it out. Would you figure it out for me?" And I thought, okay, so I'm getting paid. Now this was going to be all 100% virtual. I'm working virtually and I'm getting paid to learn something new. I like this. I like this a lot. So that was another turning point for me. And that's really, when everything changed, because I could see how I could do this business, and location was no longer an issue. Now, then something very important happened in 2012. I met my husband, Greg, and he lived in Connecticut, 164 miles away from me. And now being able to work from anywhere became really important if I wanted my relationship with him to work out. He was tied to a 9 to 5, actually a lot longer hours than that, in New York City. He was commuting in every day and didn't have the ability to come to Boston, where I lived, as easily as I had the ability to come to Connecticut. And so I got serious in a whole new way and moved all of my applications online, all of my work online, my files online, so that I could be 100% location independent. And that was amazing. That was amazing. So before I knew it, my work was taking off. I was keeping in touch with the people that I know. I was spreading the word about my work, and a ripple effect started when my clients started to spread the word about my work as well. And what happened then was I was able to move with my daughter full-time to Connecticut after commuting for a few years. And then Greg and I got married in the summer of 2021. And this is us on our wedding day. And it was really the time flexibility, the location freedom, doing work that I love, being fulfilled, being able to support myself, that made all of the difference in the world. And really it was virtual assistants that transformed my life. And so I want to invite you to really lean into this if this is something that you want. And because of this lifestyle freedom, I've worked with over 200 entrepreneurs. I've billed over 20,000 client hours, and I've made over $1 million in 10 years. The first year I was in business, I was able to make $70,000 as a VA. And for the next 10 years, I made over $100,000 every single year. And, from the beginning, Greg and I always wanted to own our own home. And here we are in our new old home that we're bringing back to life on the coast of the Chesapeake in Virginia. And, my life did not follow the plan that I thought it would. It absolutely didn't. I had my daughter at 40. I started my career path as a virtual assistant at 50. And it's not too late for you to have what you want. I got married at 60 and bought a home with my husband at 63. So the thing, though, that you have to do is you have to start thinking like a successful business owner. And that's what I help my students to do in my online community and my program. So if you want this lifestyle, that's the first step, to start thinking about things through a new lens. And we're going to talk about that right now as we talk about how to showcase your skills. Now, here's the thing. Just because you're capable, all right, let me back up. We don't want to sell ourselves to our clients. Clients do not like to be sold to. I don't like to be sold to. I don't like to sell, right? So raise your hand if that's you, right? 100%, we don't want any selling involved here. But what we do want to do is we want to showcase our work so that our clients can understand what we do, and we want to showcase it in a way that they can see themselves in it. Okay, so sometimes a VA will be hired for one skill, like say they're hiring you to do their social media. They have no idea you can update their website, you can create PowerPoint presentations, you can set up credit card processing. They have absolutely no idea. And so what you want to do is make sure that you're putting all of your skills front and center. Okay, front and center. And there's several ways to do this. So one is to have a complete list of your services available on your website. And I want you to organize them by skill topic, like marketing, social media, managing the day-to-day, and really list out all of the things that you can do so that they can see themselves in that list. Now, I have had clients, I love when this happens, brand new clients, they're really excited. They can't wait to start working with me. And they print out my services page and they say, I've printed out your services page. It's right here. I've circled all the things I want to talk about. And I think, okay, this is great, right? Because they are seeing themselves in the services that I offer. Now, the other thing that I want you to think about is having examples of your work ready to share. And I don't mean a portfolio. What I mean is you can write some case studies. Now, that sounds very difficult and hard, to do. It's not. So here's what you do. You get testimonials from your clients, and I want you to do that anyway. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put a story on top of it. And here's what I mean. So let's say somebody wrote a testimonial, Belinda helped me set up a webinar series. She's smart, fast, and a delight to work with. Highly recommend her. Okay, so that doesn't really tell the person who's looking at my case studies page really anything about me. So what I did was I wrote the story on top of the testimonial. And so I might say something like, I set up a webinar program for my client from scratch. I created the payment processing system, or I set up the payment system for registration. I taught my client how to use Zoom. I followed up with the participants afterward with the replay link, whatever it is. But you see how I filled in all the blanks, and you really want to do that. You want to fill in the blanks and create these case studies so that your testimonials will really, really work for you, like really work for you. The other thing that you want to do is you want to add your testimonials all over your site, right? So have a page with all your testimonials, have a case studies page, and then sprinkle your testimonials all over your website, because this is a way that people can see what you've done for others as well. Now, the other thing that I want you to do is I want you to think about your own business as a display case. And, there are many other VA trainers who talk about how important it is to have a portfolio. I am not one of them. What I want you to do instead is I want you to build your business to be a showcase for your capabilities. So here's an example. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of the debit card system, right? It's the system I invented to get paid upfront by your clients. And what happens is when a client buys time from you, they see that you know how to set up credit card processing because they're actually using your system, right? If a client wants to set up time with you and you send them your TidyCal link or your Calendly link or your Acuity link, something gets clicked in their brain. Oh, she knows how to do this. How cool is that? I would like to have this as well. And it just goes on and on and on. I created a freebie for my business. I sent it to all of my clients and people who are on my stay in touch list. I just created this free report. I thought you might find it interesting. Here you go. So now they can see I can write a document, I can format it, I can do this for them. So over and over and over, what happens is clients they see what I'm producing for my own business. What that does is it shows that I'm taking myself seriously. I'm taking my business seriously. Clients start to pay closer attention when they realize this, right? Like, oh, wow, she really is in business for real. And then my favorite phrase becomes, let me show you mine, right? Let me show you how my Calendly works. Let me show you how my PowerPoint works. Let me show you how, my this or my that works. Let me show you some client websites I've worked on. And this, it takes time to build this. This is not overnight. It is not overnight. But what happens is you as your business gets more and more built out, you are a wonderful example. Now here's the secret sauce that makes everything work. And this is your email newsletter. So your email newsletter, you're going to write and send out once a month or more frequently if you want to. And what you're going to do is you're going to write about 3 ways to clean out your email inbox. How I onboard a new client. So let's take that example of how I onboard a new client. Okay. So you write an article and you talk about the importance of onboarding the client and how it sets the tone for your relationship. And then you talk about 7 things you do to onboard a client. Okay. Add their name to your phone. So when they call you, you can tell it's them. I mean, that's so simple. We would word it a little differently, but you get the point. So you list all these things out with a couple of sentences in your newsletter. Now, here's what happens. The first thing that happens is probably the people who are reading it think, oh, I don't have a way to onboard my clients. This is really smart. I should hire Belinda to help me create a system to onboard, right? And the other thing that can happen is they can see how you have a really well thought out onboarding system for your own business. And again, they think, oh, wow, she's in business for real. and she knows how to do this, and maybe I should hire her, or at least continue to read her newsletters and stay, stay surrounded by her, so when the need comes. So it's a very interesting thing, because the newsletter, what it does is you talk about what you offer. By showing up consistently, you are demonstrating consistency. You're demonstrating trustworthiness. You're demonstrating professionalism, all the things, just by the simple act of sending out an email newsletter. So there's many, many ways to showcase your work and to expand what you're doing with clients. I had my biggest client, I started out with him, I was doing his email newsletters twice a month. And then by the time he retired, I was practically running his entire business, not the client work that he was doing, but I was doing his scheduling. I was scheduling and pulling together online events for him. I was helping him with his social media. I mean, it just built and built and built until that relationship became, between $17,000 and $20,000 every single year, just by letting him know what else I could do for him. Okay. So again, I wasn't selling. I wasn't, having a meeting to talk about how I could expand my work with him. It was just by writing in my newsletter and discussing his ideas with him about what he wanted to accomplish, and being able to give him examples of how I'd done it in the past. Okay. Good. So it's not difficult, but you do want to give this some thought. All right. So that your work with clients will naturally expand over time. Good. All right. So I'm going to skip this slide and I'm going to jump right here. And what I want to let you know about is, for those of you who have not attended my free training, the VA Business Launchpad, we are getting started again on October 17th. So if you're interested in learning how to get your business off the ground in a powerful way, please sign up for this training. Like I said, we're starting on October 17th. vabusinesslaunchpad.com. I'd love to have you. We have a pop-up group, Facebook group. We're going to start letting people into that tomorrow. We have had hundreds of people already register. It's very, very exciting. So come on over and let me show you how this path of virtual assistants can change your life, how you can step into it, and how you can get where you want to go in 2025. Really, the year is starting to wind up, and to be poised for the new year. Okay. That surprised me a little bit when I just said that. But yeah, it's October 8th. All right. So I'm Belinda Sandor. I'm signing off. Lean into your business, lean into how you can professionalize yourself and take your own business next level, as a way to showcase for your potential clients and your clients the work you can do for them as well. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.